Hello, I'm Sally Rideout, a Government Affairs Specialist for the Southwest Indiana Chamber. We're here today with Cindy Ledbetter, candidate for State Representative. I have with us Tara Barney, who's the President and CEO of the Southwest Indiana Chamber, Sherry Sherman, the Executive Director of the Warwick Chamber of Commerce, Mike Schottmeyer, one of our Government Affairs Committee members, and also Carrie Flegel, another one of our Government Affairs Committee members. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And at this point in time, I'm going to turn the conversation over to Mike Schottmeyer to get the interview started.
Good morning, Cindy. I don't think any of us that are my age that watch the Brady Bunch or Hollywood Squares believe that one day we would be living in that world. So welcome. I've worked on I-69 with the Chamber for probably approaching 2-3 decades, a long time. So we're very close, and we anticipate soon a record decision on the environmental impact study for the I-69 bridge, which is pretty close to the Warwick, Vanderburgh County line, and certainly in your district. Unfortunately, that EIS is stalled for many, many months now, if not over a year, over the fate of a toll-free preservation of both 41 bridges or one of the 41 bridges. Tell us how you would support the I-69 new bridge, which is the toll bridge, and how you will help get the community's desired plan of keeping both 41 bridges toll-free for the future.
So you're telling me that the plan is to move forward with a toll bridge?
It is, yes. The plan that the Chamber and most everyone in Southwest Indiana and Western Kentucky have supported is the 69 bridge to be tolled, just like Louisville, the two bridges in Louisville, but 41 to be the toll-free option. But right now, there's an issue of whether both 41 bridges will stay or just one of them in the environmental impact study that's being done right now, which is required before we can build the new bridge.
Well, I would be in support of the bridge being toll-free and just working to help to make that happen if I'm elected, or what should I say, when I'm elected into office. I don't see the necessity of that being a toll bridge, especially with our current legislator as it is now. We've been able to, manage infrastructure pretty well in our state. And I think we would be able to move forward even in these financial times. I think we can come up with a solution.
Okay.
Okay. So, good morning. How are you doing? Well, it's hoped that the federal government would address concerns about business liability for those companies that operated during the pandemic. It appears that that issue will fall to the individual states. Many states have already taken action in that area. What is your view on this issue, specifically about what activities, issues should be covered, and how do you plan to play a role in participating in such legislation?
Well, I know that this interview is supposed to be about me and my views, but I have strong faith in our governor and our lieutenant governor and our legislator, and I don't see how our state currently, how we are moving forward, how we would allow businesses to be affected or to be held liable for COVID. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I will do everything I can to not allow that to move forward. COVID is, out of a business's control. It's out of a person's control for the most part. People should not be able to be held liable for any reason against something that we can't even see. That makes no sense to me. Did I answer your question? It makes no sense to me that a business would be held liable for that. So I'm going to fight for your rights on that. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just speak on behalf of we chambers. We'll certainly make sure that we're actively educating on that when the session gets started. But I would like to shift to one of those things that we know every legislator gets to spend a lot of time on, and certainly is a highest priority for their constituents, and that's working on the state budget. And the pandemic has put such a significant strain on not just the state budget, but on local government budgets as well. As you go into this session, which is a budget session, what will you be working on to protect, given the fact that there's going to be basically less money? And where do you see opportunities to maybe lessen the investment given the scarce resources the state's going to have?
Well, I know that we have to support critical services such as education and healthcare. As far as lessening, I think that's going to be a result. I know the governor has asked the agencies to cut their budgets by 15%. So there has to be some faith in those directors that they're going to make the right choices for their agency. And then after seeing those numbers, I would be able to make a determination. But until I see those numbers and I'm more familiar, I'm not sure where that would be at this time because I'm not in it right now, if that makes any sense. Once again, you know, I'm fully behind our governor and lieutenant governor, and I think they're doing an excellent job in how they're running our state. And I'm in full support of them and what we're doing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry?
Yes, good morning, Cindy. Southwest Indiana must increase our overall education attainment for our citizens going forward to be successful in a global economy, increasing high school graduation rates and post-secondary credentials for our region goals. If you could rewrite the education and workforce programs, what changes would you make and what would you do to keep the work towards those goals?
I would really like to see more trade school options in our schools. I feel like 50% of the children that go to college do not graduate. So they walk away with debt. They're not prepared to go. And our schools are so focused on setting everybody up for that. And, you know, we have a president who wants to rebuild America. America can't compete on a world level and maintain our expected wages. When people in China are making $4.50 an hour and people in Mexico are making $4.50 an hour and people in America want to make $20 an hour, we can't compete with that. So in order for our economy to grow, we have to rebuild America and churn our own economy. And in order to do that, we're going to need young workers who are willing to do that work and rebuild. So we need to find a way to promote trade, to promote that type of work, and to get the trade schools in with the school system, and you know, allow that to happen. Maybe even where there's a graduation path where a school is, you know, a child is struggling, where they can put them on the trade school path as opposed to a college path. I would really, really like to see some changes. Not that we have so much of a problem here, but we need trade schools in our inner cities. We need to lift those young people up and give them a chance. That's very, very important to me.
Okay, thank you.
Cindy, Mike Schottmeyer again. You've served in government. Describe for us what you've learned from that service that you will carry with you in your service to the General Assembly.
I think the most important thing is my experience with local government and being able to support local government from a state level, the knowledge of what I have learned and can bring back to the community. The other thing in serving is that I've realized that, you know, Warwick County, where I live, we are growing in GDP. Warwick County and Du Bois County, we are the only two counties in this southwestern Indiana area that are currently growing in GDP. And it may seem good for Warwick, but it really isn't good for us as a whole because the population is simply shifting into Warwick County. And because I live here and understand that, I want to help to make a change to that, because we have to worry about everyone, because at some point things are going to become stagnant here. So quality of life is very important to me as well, in ways to bring the economy in. I hope I answered that correctly. I'm trying to think of, can you ask me the question again? You asked about local government, didn't you?
What you've learned from your past experience in government that you'll take to Indianapolis.
Yes, and what I have learned from Warwick County, most specifically, in watching how they've done things, is the importance of quality of life and how to bring that into a community to be able to increase your GDP, your economic development, the want for businesses to come into your area. I think we need to work on that, especially House District 75 as a whole.
Cindy, this is Tara again. I want to just make sure that we ask you a question that gives you a chance to share with us what your main issues are, what you plan to champion, where you think you've got a chance to kind of make your mark in this upcoming session.
Well, being new, I don't plan to champion much of anything. I think I need to learn my first year. I know more than likely I will be on the healthcare committee because that's where my background is. And secondly, I've asked to be involved in family and children's services because my personal history, you know, it was government programs that helped me to succeed. I had food stamps when I was in college. I had a Pell Grant when I was in college. The government co-signed the note on the first home that I bought. So I've been lifted up by those programs and I've seen how they helped. So I've also asked for a seat in that division. I want to help with education. Mental health is very important to me. Our new jails right now are being built with mental health holding facilities in them. Something needs to change there. I'd like to see more community-based options, maybe some changes to the state hospital systems with mental health. Agriculture is very important to our district. We have to be able to protect their rights and also the rights of the small farmer. They need to be lifted up. And of course, workforce, Governor Holcomb's workforce plan right now is an excellent time, especially with people being displaced from COVID, for us to get people reskilled, upskilled, and moving forward. So it's agriculture, education, workforce, and mental health is what my campaign is focused on.
Well, we certainly appreciate the chance to get to know you better and to hear your priorities. And for me, it's been a delightful conversation because I haven't had the chance to know you very well yet, but I wish you the best in the campaign. And anyone else have any final comments? Sherry, Carrie, anyone else?
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.